Hi, I'm Mark Small, Civil Discourse Now. My guest today is Cassie Jackson. Cassie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mark?
Oh, I'm just spiffy. And you have your podcast too, is that correct?
Um, Say It Out Loud is on pause right now, but I have a bunch of exciting stuff coming up in terms of advocacy against Mr. Beckwith. So some photo shoots when I'm off Facebook off suspension from Facebook. In 2 days we'll start that.
Okay, and that was Beckwith, the name we don't really like around here. So we're going to be talking today. And this podcast technically could be going to the International Space Station, but there's nobody there right now, are they? No, they already came back. No, they're still up there. Anyways, we're in Indiana, and the Republican Party has as a lieutenant governor nominee a guy named Micah Beckwith, and Beckwith is really an awful person, but he also claims to talk to God and have conversations with God. And Cassie and I have talked about this, and I was just, what would you look for? First of all, let's just assume that the God that Beckwith claims to talk to him, actually exists, and has communicated with him. So I want to ask, what would you look for if you're looking for something to be like a supreme deity, or at least high-ranking supreme deity? I mean, he never says how the guy how God talks to him, right? Like, he never contacts, right, or how he gets hold of him.
Well, what I would definitely want to begin is to have the same relationship that Micah has with God, which is that she certainly calls me by name when she contacts me, because you know that Micah said that God said, and I quote, Micah, and then proceeded on to discuss how God told him that January 6th was her plan.
And you're wanting to emphasize the fact that that's something that wouldn't necessarily be male. I mean, I don't know why people would ascribe a sex or not sex to a God, but
I do. Men,
truly.
Yeah, men just think that they're better than women, so that probably has something to do with it.
Well, could be. Okay, so like Beckwith also has said that the Democratic Party's nominees have the spirit of, are being driven by the spirit of Jezebel.
Can I take 1 second for this, and I'm going to let you go on? I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
I was his original Jezebel. That was the term that he coined for me. And so if, I get like verklempt or anything during this, it's probably because I can't believe he's moved on to Jennifer, who has a much bigger platform than me, and labeled her this as well.
Well, he's just one of them thar Jezebel crazy kind of guys. And look, he's misogynistic. Well, I can go into a whole bunch of things, but so like he never says when it is that he first got the contact from the supreme deity. And I guess when he has quoted God, like the first communication that I've read where he said that God spoke to him was January 7th. Were there any before that?
I'm not sure. That's a great question. I am sure he has said that before, because he offers prophecy classes at his church. So you too can come.
You told me so long ago. You want to be a prophet?
What kind of be a prophet? Although I need to warn everyone, remember, you'll be being taught by a female. So just FYI, if that's not going to be a good flex for you, then you should not go to learn how to be a prophet.
You too can be a prophet. In the ever expanding market, employment opportunities are great at being a prophet. Okay. So like,
but that's what your question was, which was, what would you look for, or what would you?
No. The question after that though was that the first communication? Go ahead. Yeah. What would you look for in it?
Well, aside from needing her to absolutely know and call me by direct name, I would probably look for a God who's not speaking to us humans. That would be the first thing, because, not everyone has that line to God, because not everybody believes he exists. So that's a big problem, number one.
Okay, we're going to try to do these in 5-minute segments thereabout. So we're at the end of this one. This is Civil Discourse Now. My guest is Cassie Jackson, and we'll be back. I am going to